low thyroid, or even sleep apnea. Low T Center will determine the cause of your symptoms and help you get back to feeling your best. It all starts with their quick and easy health assessment covered by most health insurance. And they now offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments, providing convenience, and additional health monitoring measures for your safety, including a take-home blood pressure monitoring cuff. Self-inject at-home treatments are $135 a month for self-pay, or covered by most health insurance. To schedule your health assessment, go to lowtcenter.com. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Scott Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
8:08. Let's get an update on the roads now. AM 560 traffic center time. And Jim Telemonte.
In Palatine, Rand Road remains blocked in both directions from west of 53 to east of 53 at Hintz Road, and eastbound traffic is jammed starting around Ports of Call. Inbound, Kennedy, delays start at Canfield. It's 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, quicker than the Express. Outbound to get to O'Hare, your travel time is 25 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower, delays start at 390. There is a crash on the outbound side at 83. The travel time inbound is 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, 58 minutes. Stevenson, 34 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Southbound I-55 is jammed, 52 to I-80 with a crash. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Periods of clouds and sun. It'll be windy today. High 32. Partly cloudy, windy tonight. Low 29. A sunny, windy day tomorrow. The high at 38. Partly sunny. It'll be a colder day on Friday. The high 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
13 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 8:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I thought perhaps President Trump's most trenchant remark yesterday in his Fare Thee Well speech was his riff on free thought and free speech in a free society.
Only if we forget who we are and how we got here could we ever allow political censorship and blacklisting to take place in America. It's not even thinkable. Shutting down free and open debate violates our core values and most enduring traditions. In America, we don't insist on absolute conformity or enforce rigid orthodoxies and punitive speech codes. We just don't do that. America is not a timid nation of tame souls who need to be sheltered and protected from those with whom we disagree. That's not who we are. It will never be who we are.
We don't need to be protected from disagreement by the government or by big tech corporations or anybody else. That's the defiance. That's the taking up the fight aspect of Trump that I'm going to miss. And I think we'll see what happens over the next 4 years, heck, over the next couple of months. But I think a lot of people are going to come to miss that, too. For more on that topic specifically, pleased to be joined again by Shmuel Klatzkin. He's the Associate Rabbi of the Chabad of Greater Dayton, Ohio, an adjunct professor at Antioch University, and Senior Editor of Curriculum at JLI. Rabbi Klatzkin, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Nice to be with you again.
What about what President Trump had to say about enforced orthodoxy of opinion and blacklisting that's going on?
I agree with him 100%. It's completely anti-American and anti-freedom. This is the most foundational idea that came as we emerged from the Middle Ages. that we needed to be able to speak about the great issues that run people's lives, that people dedicate their lives to, about religion and politics. And we with great pain, we established freedom of religion, and we established freedom of speech and freedom of the press. But just as consistent as that in our history have been attempts to just forget about that, and America has we've had that in our history. One of the words that's come to the fore in these past few weeks since as one writer put it, the unquiet riot at the Capitol, was the word sedition. And it's well chosen. We had in our second president's term of office, and I'm a great admirer of John Adams. I find him an incredibly admirable person and thinker. But nonetheless, his administration passed an act called the Sedition Act, by which they criminalized what was basically just strongly expressed dissent through elected representatives into jail, and was rightly decried by Jefferson and his party as really going back on what the Bill of Rights was all about. We're not exempt. Yes, I'm sorry.
This is why Reagan famously observed that freedom is always just a generation away from extinction. It has to be fought for and won generation after generation after generation, and people don't know the history. They don't understand that our constitutional rights have been under threat before, and they will be again, and the response to those threats is what tells the story.
We've been given so much. I know growing up, the amount of things I took for granted. Our adulthood, I think, really comes when we see just how fragile these things are and how we have to stand for them in whatever way that's peaceful and courageous to retain them. It's something that's very deep in the tradition. In the Jewish tradition, there's a wonderful story told of one of the greatest of rabbis, who was named Rabbi Yochanan, who had a star student, and his greatness was that he contradicted him at every turn. And it sharpened his mind. When the student passed away early, a lot of other students vied for that position. But every time the head rabbi would say something, they'd all say, "Oh, yes, it's based here, and here's a text which supports you." The head rabbi said to them, "If I hadn't known those texts, I wouldn't have said what I did." But the man who died, he would challenge me, and we'd both get smarter and better and deeper for it. And we've lost that sense of robust debate. It's been taken as being somehow offensive. And it's a mark of weakness in those who are currently holding on to reins of power. If they move in that direction, it shows how unsure they really are of the truth of what they're standing for.
So, as you know, President Trump has been silenced on a majority of platforms. How do you fight back against the enemies of free thought?
Well, by keep on thinking free. What we can do is really going to depend on what is available at the moment for us to do. And when James Joyce writes about in the Portrait of the Artist how his thought was being censored by the powers that were in his Dublin of that day, he replied to one of those power figures, what do I have in my hands? Silence, cunning, and exile. And he built a career of integrity on his own terms. I think we have more at our hands than he did. But we do have to learn how to deal with the realities of people having power who are not handling it worthily, or may not at any rate. I hope for the best, but we sure better be prepared for the worst.
Well, again, I just have to go back to sort of the quality of K through 12 instruction in this country. You cite in a piece that you wrote on the topic at The Spectator, Oliver Wendell Holmes, one of my favorite observations, perhaps the favorite observation for me, is the majority opinion in the 1943 case of West Virginia State Board of Education v. Barnett, in which Justice Robert Jackson said that the orthodoxy of opinion, enforced orthodoxy of opinion, achieves only the unanimity of the graveyard. And that was a case in which forcing students to recite the Pledge of Allegiance was the issue. And Jackson said, no, The First Amendment protects students from being forced to salute the flag or say the Pledge of Allegiance in public school. And it's interesting because we were having this conversation about saluting the flag and saying the pledge, but particularly saluting the flag because of the public displays of kneeling before the flag in sports, but not limited to sports over the last several years. And we would have this conversation about, I find that objectionable, but I also recognize it's Colin Kaepernick's right, for example, to kneel, or it's other NFL players' right to kneel before the flag. This is not this does not run afoul of free expression. This is not something you can force them to do, is stand and salute the flag. And so here we are today. Sort of in the opposite position. And maybe if the left, those on the left, had a little bit better understanding of just how freedom works, or in the words of Kamala Harris, freedom, how that works, maybe we could advance the flag, as it were, for the things that we understood once upon a time, whether in the 40s or a couple of generations earlier with Oliver Wendell Holmes.
I had a wonderful early education in public school, and I remember the fellow in our class, the family on religious reasons they told him he should not be present for the pledge, and he was never ostracized. He was never, the teacher saw to it that the students respected him. We all did the pledge, and we all believed in it, but we also believed that what made that pledge valuable is a freedom like this that it stood for, and we had an object lesson every day. And that was great. I'm very blessed to have had such great teaching. Also, as someone who is very, we might say, orthodox religiously, I realized that you can't just force people into it and have a religious commitment that comes from being forced. There's an old proverb in Hebrew that words that are spoken from the heart enter the heart. And I've learned in a free country that makes me better at my commitments by being forced to really touch someone's heart rather than just bash them over the head or force them in some external way. And I think our politics has to be informed from our religion. I think that's a lot of what America has seen and why we value freedom of religion. We put it beyond the pale, not that it should be entirely separate from our politics, but we come, as Adam says, the only way you can have this Constitution as a moral and religious people. It won't work otherwise. We come with the deepest sort of commitments which inform us how we should go about the work together with others.
You in your piece, you make a salient point that I want you to develop for our listeners. Only free thought can produce unity. Without free thought, all you can do is impose a false unity. Explain.
Yeah, there's the unity where every difference is crushed and removed. You wind up with husks of human beings then. It's not really a unity. It's a uniformity at best. It has no tensile strength. In the end, it will break, even if, for whatever reason, that darkness of such a situation lasts for a long time. The ability of a free society to bring together its strength is, it's deceptive. The dictators in the 30s, were contemptuous of societies and thought they were weak, and they were almost right. But the power that the democracies brought to bear was, in the end, it was triumphant, because we have the full power of the commitment that we found the way to. And it's a unity which I think expresses best, to put it in theological terms, our belief in a one core reality from which the wondrous variety of this incredible universe has sprung. And we have to apply that insight into our politics, which we've done to develop free societies. That's the way it's meant. That is the nature of things. Jefferson talked about nature, and nature's God. That's the reality. He wasn't talking about simply this is the way we'd like it to be and it's a program, but he was speaking to an established fact that if we don't recognize, we're all the weaker for it. And when we do, we have an incredible strength, the strength that the universe is built on.
That's like a friendly addition to Newspeak in 1984. Ignorance is strength, freedom is slavery, unity is uniformity, or uniformity is unity. Yeah. Either way, I mean that's where we're at. I like it. Shmuel Klatzkin, he is the associate rabbi of the Chabad of Greater Dayton, Ohio, adjunct professor at Antioch University, and senior editor of curriculum at JLI. Rabbi Klatzkin, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
A great pleasure always.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-500-5588. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-500-5588 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800.
Diet utilizes DNA testing to determine your ideal workout regimen, diet, and specific needs for essential vitamins, plus many more metabolic factors, so you can keep the weight off. NJ Diet is all natural. No shots, no hormones, and no surgery. Full supervision is provided every step of the way, and you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet is available in the Chicago area and worldwide with live online video consultations. So call them now and lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 50 plus pounds in only 40 days. 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com to lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer than that.
Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed. Queen now $17.99. Only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Now I want to know what you're laughing at over there. What are you listening to?
With my Kamala Harris reference to freedom, somebody sent me the Princess Bride wedding scene where the presiding priest, marriage.